Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the podcast slash YouTube channel of Great Talking Entertainment official channel. And this is my spoiler review for episode 7 for the new DC series on Max, The Penguin. And again, if you have not seen this show, pause this, give me a thumbs up, because this would give my YouTube channel to go through the algorithm and to reach new audience. If you just hit that thumbs up button, and if you could, do a little extra, share any of my content that I have on this YouTube channel. It would help me, and I appreciate this. But go watch the Penguin series. Such an amazing show. You're gonna love it, especially if you're into like the mobster stories like Godfather, Sopranos, and many, many more things like that. You're gonna love this. So go watch it, come back, and let me know how you feel about my reviews. Let me know how you feel about the show, and let me know your theories about what's next in the Batman universe that you may think may happen or may not happen. Let me know in the comments below. So, again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Let's get into it. Episode 7, we get a whole flashback of Penguin's childhood and see what inspired him to become the crime mob of Gotham City, aka the Penguin. We see his other brothers, and it looked like he's just not a fan of them. That the lifestyle they're choosing, he's more of a the two brothers seem to be more of a, just regular kids. I think the older brother kind of knows what's going on between his mother and maybe who the guy we see in this episode could be their father, but he just doesn't want to be a bad guy. I think wants to be a good guy slash kid, and I think he just wants to do the right thing, and I think he just wants to get out of this lifestyle that his mother is raising them in a way. And we see that there's a younger little brother too who just seems like he doesn't understand what's going on because of his age, obviously. But then we see Penguin, who seems to be the middle child, and we already can tell that he's very obsessive with his mother. Like, he's a real, true, like, mama's boy in a sense. But it's kind of weird. It's kind of gross. And, I mean, they're not hinting the thing, but the way sometimes what they say in dialogue may seem like that. That's what I got out of it. But I'm not going to say what the actual word, because I'm on YouTube. But it just seems a little bit strange of the relationship, especially at that. And what's funny, well, not funny, but very interesting, is he's already has that leg injury, but we know it's like a deform. And I always go back to the Gotham show on Fox that used to be on Fox, and the guy who played the Penguin, the actor, I should say, he in that show they kind of portray that he got injured by the character that Jada Pinkett Smith played. That's how he got that limp, and it always supposed to hurt. In this one, it just seems like not supposed to hurt, but like I think it was just like he was just born with it. So it's more not like a injury. It's just something he just so used to that that's just how his body is at this point, which is no big deal. I'm just saying, like, this is very interesting that they went that route. But I do remember there is a comic book, and I forget the name of it, but there is a comic book, and I have read it before, about the Penguin's childhood. I just can't remember which one it was, because I read so many. I read so many Batman comic books, but I know there is one for sure. But what I also like about this too, the show's like this kid is someone already a monster. He's an evil little kid. You can already tell like he's bad and he's very jealous because we see like he doesn't like to hang out with kids his age, and obviously right off the bat he's not a fan of his own brothers, but he's always loyal to his mom and always just trying to please her. And so their mother Frances, she told the boys to go out and drop off this book. Who we meet this like mobster who could be maybe Penguin's dad. I'm not sure, but it kind of reminded me of the movie Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent. That's what it reminded me of, in the sense of it. There was a kid in New York, didn't know who his dad was, found out it was the biggest drug dealer in Harlem or New York, pretty much, and or Queens, I think. I apologize which one it was, but it just reminds me of the plot of that movie with this scene, and and I like it. It's just very interesting. Like I don't. This is kind of like the first time they had an actor play the Penguin's dad. They were always referenced the Penguin's dad in past stuff, but never on the live screen. So unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time they did that. And they keep it where they're not really sure if that's their dad, but it kind of hints it. So these kids don't know it, but they're going off, and then they decide to go play in the sewers, and this is where it gets really dark. And this is where we learn that he, murdered his own brothers by locking this like door, and it was just raining in Gotham, and the sewers started filling up with a lot of water, so they downed him drowning, and little Penguin's just home with his mom, just watching a movie, having a good time, and we don't know if the mom senses it or understands. They didn't mention no police report yet. Maybe they may talk about it in the next episode, but they didn't really go too much in detail. But what they really focus on is just showing, again, how much evil Penguin is, reminding us that he is this villain that we know from the Batman comic books, TV shows, cartoons, video games. Like, this is the evil villain, right? This is the street level evil villain that we recognize. Like, this is the person Batman has to get and stop, right? And so this is like a show where this doesn't have a hero. This is just the villain being the villain, and it's just showing how much he was as a child. Like, he was beyond a bad kid, but it's just very interesting to see that, and it makes you wonder how safe Victor is. Like, it just proves that he may take out Victor, which I hope not. I hope that maybe he's changed, but it's this episode's reminding us, who the Penguin is within the DC comic world. Like, this is the Penguin. He's not the hero. He doesn't have a heart. He's the bad guy. And so they're bringing it back to that, and I like that because this was very dark and gritty. And I'm in the last episode 6 was pretty dark and gritty too. So I bet you the last episode 8, is going to be pretty dark and gritty too, when it comes to the violence, the actual truth of certain origin stories being told in this show. Now the next scene goes on to the more present time of what's going on. And we see Penguin pull up to where they're hiding at, where Victor and his mother is at, and he discovers that Sophia took him, and he sees a knocked out Victor, which is like, I believe this is probably like the third time he's failed, and Penguin has seen his fail. So it's like teasing the idea like Victor's definitely not safe no more. But this pushes Penguin to a new limit. Like, he's going to become a killer now. And he gets ambushed by Sal Maroni and a couple goons of Sophia, and forces Penguin to show their operation. Before that, they gave him a brutal beating that Sal Maroni's used with a golf club. I don't know which golf club it is, but he was swinging at him. And this is where we see, even in the worst scenario, the Penguin's trying to figure out the next step. He's going to figure out how to get these guys. And, he told Victor to go sneak out the window before they all came up, right? And to get everybody ready. So he was already plotting this thing. And as soon as they show him, right, it goes down like it was the most shooting out. And then the way it ended was odd. But before that, we get a scene where we finally get Sophia and Penguin's mom, Frances, in one room, and it was really intense conversation. I mean, they both are like alphas, and they weren't backing down. They were saying very harsh things to each other, giving us the harsh truth. Like, for Frances, she was telling Sophia, like, you're no different. It's the same thing. Same people, same losers, same winners. Like, you're doing nothing different. And then Sophia's like, giving her the harsh truth about her son, Penguin, and, even trigger an episode for Frances where she's kind of like I don't know, the dimension, I believe. I think it's dementia is kicking in, and she's having a flashback about her other two boys. But then, she comes back to reality in a sense and smacks Sophia in the face. And, this is what's very interesting is we're seeing Sophia kind of crack through this episode. I mean, it's that, and then when she finds out that Penguin killed Sal Maroni, even though Sal Maroni, like, had some type of heart attack, but obviously Penguin's taking the credit. But, she had that panic attack, but we see Dr. Rush, Julian Rush, kind of give her that pep talk that he likes to do because he's madly in love with her. And also, she got word that her niece maybe wanting to talk to the police because she knows something or sees something. So Sophia had to go down there and see what's up. But luckily, all she saw was the gas mask. But what's really interesting about this scene was very dark and sad. I mean, this little girl, Sophia's niece, like, is hurting herself, but she misses her mom and dad, obviously. But Sophia told her the harsh truth and how she felt about her parents and the whole Falcone family, and said, I'm like pretty much doing her a favor so her niece can go live a whole new life, a whole new family, and be the woman whoever she wants to be as a woman, basically. That she don't have to live the life that Sophia has realized that, man, I'm just doing the exact same thing that her father wanted her to do, was to take over the family business. As she learned that from Penguin's mother. And so we see her cracking, but then, she gets her A game back on. And when she gets her A game on, she brought the heat. She brought the fire. She brought the pain. She was like, oh, you want to play this? Just brought in a regular SUV, put a bomb in there, and her guy just left, let the thing explode, and it exploded right in that abandoned neighborhood, Ground Zero. But luckily, Penguin survived, but that dirty detective cop smacked him out, knocked him out, and is taking him to wherever Sophia needs him to go, to take Penguin, basically. And that's how that ends. So what I like about this episode is just about Sophia and Penguin. This whole episode is just about these two in their own path, right? And I like that they're becoming more of a villain now. Like, this is like why I like DC is they try to make their characters in a realistic way, like if these characters were in real life. But I also like it when they stop doing that and start just being more sci-fi, unrealistic with it. Like, but not where it looks cheesy or corny, but the idea of like, wait a second, this is Penguin. Like he's a villain that Batman has to stop. Sophia Gigante is another character that Batman has to stop. Like these are DC villain characters for Batman to stop and has to go up against who are trying to corrupt Gotham. Like Sophia just dropped a big bomb and it collapsed the neighborhood. Who's gonna now? Like I said in episode 6 spoiler review, that I said that these characters are growing, but they're becoming more of what they are that we know and love from the comic books, or if you're just familiar with the old Batman cartoon shows, that once they get there, they're gonna be on Batman's radar. And once you get on Batman's radar, that's when Batman comes and finds you. And so her blowing up this place, putting in a bomb just to try to kill Penguin, now she's gonna be on Batman's radar. Now Penguin's gonna be on Batman's radar as well. And that's the idea of this. Now, this is not like a slow process of these characters. They're getting straight to the meat of the matter of this, of who they are, the core of these particular comic book characters. And this is what I love about it. They just went more comic book accurate with it, with just a little bit of it. They did a little bit of it. And this is now like feeling more like a Batman series, a Batman movie. Like now they're kicking in gear. And it's I honestly think this is the right episode to do that. The way that from episode 1 to number 7 now, it's very smooth. This is probably the right episode to start getting more closer to Batman, getting more closer to their actual characteristics that people recognize the Penguin. And if you're a hardcore comic book reader, like who Sophia Gigante is, like this is what you do, like, or Sophia Falcone. But it whatever it is, like now they're getting to it, and it just feels good to not them trying to make it so like what they would do in a real world like scenario, which they have been doing it in this show. Like, they had TikTok on one of the episodes. Like, it's just one of those things. But now this is just more of a feels more DC comics like, comic book like, I should say. And it's really cool. That's why this one is probably my favorite episodes out of all of them so far. But I have to go watch number 8 to see how that is, right? Because that one could be better, right? But I don't know yet. But I will watch it. But another thing I like about this too is the way they showed the origin story of Penguin as a child. I think that was very important to show the audience that who this character is. Like, he was never nice. He was always about himself, and he's willing to do whatever he has to take to get what he wants, and he's gonna do it, and he doesn't regret it. Anytime he felt sad or showed a little tear, he just did it just to, survive or get what he's looking for. And he's played Sophia so much for this episode, like she's had enough. So the question is now is like, does Penguin Mom get murdered by Sophia, or does she live? This is about Sophia versus the Penguin. Who's gonna outsmart who? Who's gonna run the streets? of Gotham. And that's the $1 million question. The way they set this up, this is going to be an all out gang war. And so far through this episode, this shows Penguin just always 2 steps ahead, like his mom said earlier in the show. So I really like that, and I really like how they've been showing Sophia too in this episode. Like, when she's behind closed doors and when she's just around Dr. Julian Rush in moments like that, she starts cracking. She starts showing some weakness. But when it's for her to time to go out and make a public appearance or, do a deal with Penguin, she hides her weaknesses. So she's getting really good and she's getting really clever and she's learning at the same time. But we see her now fully embrace this lifestyle that her father wanted her to do anyway. And so you got one who's just trying to find peace, which is Sophia. And you got Penguin who just wants to be the top guy. The big dog, the guy that runs the streets of Gotham, right? So it's 2 different dynamics and they both have 2 different desires, which is who's going to be the one who's going to get who's first, right? And that's what I liked about this. It's pretty much like a race to the finish. And it's really beautiful, well done, and I'm loving it so far. So what do I think is going to happen next? I think next it's just going to be it's going to be the end, obviously, but I think episode 8 is where the Penguin becomes the Penguin pretty much. He wears the hat, he has the nice house, the money, the woman, his drug business is booming. He's got a whole gang. And I think, he'll be on Batman's radar sooner than you think. And also, I think Sophia is probably going to live through this. I believe that they're going to some way, somehow have her and Catwoman meet up. Because we know in the Batman film, Selena and Kyle, in this film, her dad is Carmine Falcone. So they're like half sisters. And I believe that Matt Reeves and DC / Warner Brother Discovery, I think they want to continue that story, whether it's in a film or a show or maybe season 2 of The Penguin, who knows? But I think they want to do something with that. And I don't know they'd put that in the Batman 2 film, but it's a possibility. Maybe that's a post-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, who knows? But I believe that they want to, I think, behind the scenes, I think they want to continue that story and go take that somewhere else. What about these two? What could they do? What type of story? Obviously, the idea is Catwoman, living that lifestyle of crime and being a thief, a theft. There's just so much you can do with it. And also maybe this is an idea like Sophia could be more of a bigger threat to Batman as well. Like maybe she goes down but she gets back up at some point in the future in the Batman universe. But that's what I think. I just don't think those 2 characters are gonna have a season 2. Like I think Penguin's just gonna be Penguin now. And I think again Sophia's, I don't think that they're gonna kill off that character. I think they have an idea and a couple stories they believe that could work. And they might just need to find the right director to do that. And maybe Matt Reeves could be the one again. I don't know. But I just believe that there's more to the story to these 2 characters. So I don't think that they'll have a happy ending, but I think that these characters will move on from whatever the situation is. So that's where I think. I think this is not just the beginning. Like this show might be over, the series might be over, but I think there's more to these characters that they have probably plans for in future DC films. So who knows? But if I had to give this episode a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely giving this an 8. What an amazing series. I love it. The story made sense. I like how they just had one scene of a flashback for Penguin's childhood and then just kept it up in the present time. Giving us what Penguin's at now in the current time. And it just helped us understand more who Penguin is as a person. So I don't think we'll be rooting for him very much. I know a lot of people will be rooting for Penguin, but I think this is just a teaser. Like this next episode, you're not going to be rooting for Penguin or Sophia. So because he is the villain. So that's what I think, and I'm loving it about that. So definitely giving it, guys. But that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official Channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace